Wasted World of Sports, ahoy! How is everybody doing? Welcome along to some more Big Bash action. The season that just keeps on giving. BBL 14, hands down, has been the best BBL that I can remember. Now, that being said, I don't watch all of them. I haven't ever watched all of them. Nor have I ever watched a full season like this before. So it might not be my place to say, but it feels like this has hands down been one of the best and most competitive BBLs of all time. Welcome along to this one, though, because we've got another team whose season is on the line. The Adelaide Strikers. They will be fighting to keep their finals hopes and dreams alive. The Sydney Sixers have already qualified, so this doesn't really mean anything to them other than keeping themselves a chance of top spot. Rainer is a cutie patootie. Ahoy, mate. Welcome back. How are you doing today? Ready for this one? I've got the Sydney Sixers winning. No Chris Lynn for the Strikers. That's a little bit of a team update. And the Sydney Sixers have won the bat flip and they've elected to field first, which has been very hit or miss in the most recent games. But surely the Sydney Sixers, if they bowl well, there's an if there, if they bowl well, surely with Steve Smith, Josh Philippi, Moses Onrix, it's a quality batting lineup, isn't it? They should be able to chase down pretty much any score with relative ease. But coulda, shoulda, woulda. We got Matt Short to hit a 6. Alex Ross. Oh, yep, there he is. I was looking for him. I was looking for him in the team sheet. Although, don't tell me he's not playing. Alex Ross. He comes in at 4 or 5 there and just steadies the ship if things get haywire. So I've got Alex Ross for 10 plus. Sean Abbott and Daniel Vettori Jr. there, Murphy, as the wicket takers for the Sydney Sixers. So we'll see how that goes. And then on the flip side of that, I've got Josh Philippi to hit a 6 and Steve Smith 20 plus. Jamie Overton and Lloyd Pope, the wicket takers for the Adelaide Strikers. Sydney Sixers win the bat flip and elect to field first. And the teams are out there on the field now, ready to start. Matt Short to open the batting when he's down the non-strikers end, so it'll be his mate facing the first ball. Speaking of Matt in the chat room, ahoy there. Sydney Sixers winning the toss, electing to field. Can they restrict the Adelaide Strikers? It will have a lot to do with shutting down this man, Matt Short. 2,142 runs in his BBL career. A higher score of 109, and we were there for that. We were part of that. We're up somewhere near the top of the table, says Steve Smith. Okay, I've noticed every time there's red on the screen, that sends my green screen haywire. Jettles, ahoy there. Welcome along. Mitchell Vella Sports says, what do I think about TikTok closing? Well, we'll see if it even happens. And it's only closing in America. Mind you, if it closes in America, I can't imagine the company would keep running, would they? Wouldn't make necessarily a whole lot of sense. It depends on their worldwide user base, I suppose. And a dot ball to start here. Edwards fires one in on the leg side, and Matt Short misses out there. A dot ball to start. Matt Short and Darcy Short opening the batting. Fortnight on top. Ahoy there, mate. Welcome back. Scorchers downfall or Hurricanes rise or both. Why not both? Swing and a miss outside off stump. Matt Short has not made contact yet. 2 swings at nothing but air. Yeah, I think it's maybe a combination of both of those things. The Hurricanes have clearly improved this season, and the Scorchers have clearly dropped off this season. So I'd say the downfall of the Scorchers, maybe though it won't be long lasting. It's unusual to see them down the bottom of the table, so for people for people who don't like the Scorchers, they'll be very happy this season. Edwards, a beautiful outswinger, full, and getting Matt Short to slash at this and miss again. Matt Short, 3 deliveries, and he has yet to make contact. Lockie, AU, ahoy there, mate. Welcome along. How do I screen record on TikTok Live? I've got no idea. Maybe I'm not understanding the question completely. Oh, this has been called a no ball and a free hit. Wow, well, that's a harsh call. Oh, hang on. If the no ball was called for landing off the pitch, if he's overstepped, then that's completely fair enough. Dead ball as Edwards runs in, and Matt Short has to pull out of that one. Yeah, I've got to say, I immediately assumed that the no ball was for the wide outswinger from Edwards, but he perhaps did just overstep the mark. Short steps across the stumps to get to the pitch and line of this one. Elevates it down the ground for 4. It was a free hit, and maybe now that'll break the shackles for Matt Short. Who do I think will win? Oh, there we go. There's a replay of the no ball, and clearly overstepping there, Edwards. A free hit for Matt Short, and he took full advantage of it. Now I've gone for the Sydney Sixers in this one. Obviously, the Adelaide Strikers have a whole lot more to play for. This one goes straight. Matt Short steps across the stumps again to give himself room, get to the pitch of the ball, get to the line of it. And this one stays straight. Takes the pad, but no thought of an LBW there. Way outside the line and going way over the top. This has been a fantastic over, though, to start for Edwards and the Sixers. Matt Short could have a thing or two to say about that, though, very quickly. One big hit here, and it all changes. Punching it back to the bowler for a dot ball. This is fantastic bowling from Edwards. Rayner is a cutie patootie, says AFL or NRL. Well, me personally, I prefer NRL. My oft-times co-host probably prefers the AFL. But for me, yes, I have definitely a preference for the NRL as Edwards into Bowley's last ball. Matt Short skies this one straight up. Should be taken. It's swirling around in the breeze, which makes for a difficult catch. But Kerr gets underneath it. Does an amazing job in that swirling breeze. Matt Short's on his way. And once again, my multi is absolutely cut to ribbons in the first over. That is a big wicket. That is a huge wicket. What a difficult catch that was. It's gone straight up in the air, but the breeze, it was swirling around everywhere. And that was no easy catch. Kerr has done an amazing job. Edwards gets the breakthrough. It's 1 for 5. Matt Short, he just couldn't quite get going today, Matt Short. The first 3 deliveries, he air swings. He had to adjust his own position in the popping crease to start getting contact with the ball. And on this occasion, straight up in the air, it just wasn't his night tonight. The Sydney Sixers on top. The Adelaide Strikers' hopes of staying alive take a little bit of a dent early. And now the man who took the catch coming straight into bowl. Darcy Short and Alex Carey. Neither batsman has faced a ball. That first over was all Matt Short. Kerr right on the money with the first ball, and Darcy Short can only fend it away to mid-off for a dot ball. Big wicket. A big wicket for the Sydney Sixers in the very first over. Matt Short already back in the dugout. Edged and taken. Oh, no. There was a noise there. There was a big noise. I don't know what it was. Or maybe I'm just hearing things. I was the only one excited about that. Goes through to the keeper for another dot ball. And the Strikers batsman just can't make contact at the moment. Batting conditions perhaps very difficult out there. Kerr into Darcy Short again. Wide outside off. Sliced away. Deep point had no chance there. Darcy Short gets off the mark. Jack Smith, ahoy there, mate. One for 9. Kerr again in the same spot, just a little fuller, and it gets the same treatment, but deep point had moved around a little more square, and it will be just the one run. Geez, I have to say, I'm still leaning towards the Hobart Hurricanes. Josh DeMann is here. Slightly leaning towards the Hurricanes. They had a little bit of a slip-up last night, which nearly cost them. But I think it will serve as a little bit of a wake-up call for them. I mean, they were travelling along so well up until that run chase last night. They made it way more difficult than it needed to be. So, yeah, I think maybe they've got a little bit of a wake-up call, and the Hurricanes are still looking the goods for mine. If the Strikers win tonight, they win it all, says Memphis Shade. 1 for 11 after 1.5. Darcy Short on 5. Alex Carey just gets himself off the mark with a single. Runs to be had. Square of the wicket on the offside. I don't think we can appreciate fully just how hard that catch was from Hayden Kerr. Drifts onto the leg side for the final ball. And it's a dot ball to finish. 1 for 11. 2 overs gone. Matt Short, the big wicket. Gone for 4. Mads. Mads says, I'm never watching a Strikers ever again. I'm now a Hurricanes supporter. Mads obviously a bit upset at that wicket in the first over. Josh DeMann is here, says Renegades had a horror season. They had a few good games, but they couldn't start their innings well. Yes, after those early games, I actually had the Renegades as my smoky for winning the whole thing. I wasn't suggesting they would win the whole thing, but I was saying they were my smoky. They were my outsider to maybe spring a few upsets, and if things go their way, you never know. Wonton, Soup Lover, 1, 2, 3, 4. Who got out? Matt Short got out in the first over. As Alex Carey punches this back down to mid-off. Not out of the middle of the bat. No chance of a run. How good is your name? It's pretty good. Going out on a limb and saying you like some wonton soup every now and then. 4 days a week, maybe, is what it is. Fraser McGurk has had a disappointing BBL 14. Finn Allen's had a disappointing BBL 14. Who else really hasn't lived up to expectations? It's been a few of them. Dorcius into the attack. Ball full outside off stump, swinging away from the left-hander. And Alex Carey just scoops it up over the covers for 4. Ah, you used to be Raheem Cornwell's biggest fan. How about that? I saw a highlight reel. I don't know if it's recent. I don't know if it's a recent one or if it's just an old one that's popped up again, but I did see a clip pop up in my feed. Big Raheem taking a beautiful diving catch off his own bowling. Now, Dorcius gets it to reverse swing back in towards the pads, and Alex Carey just whips it away, square on the leg side. Well fielded out there by Daniel Vittori Jr. And they come back for a second. Having a look at this on replay, has Murphy stayed in field? He's done extremely well there, Murphy. Well, he didn't really jump. He more sort of fell to the right. It wasn't... Yeah, I'd be lying if I called it a jump. He just sort of collapsed to the right and the ball stuck into his big mitts. It's actually really... Raheem Cornwell caught and bowled. See if you can find it. It's really worth watching. Dorcius getting a lot of swing on these deliveries. Eight runs off this over. It's a good one for the Strikers. One for 19, looking to recover, rebuild this innings. We've seen a lot of great rebuilding jobs in BBL 14 so far. They're going to need another one here. One for 19, one for 20 now. They take that single. 1 for 20 after 3 overs. Fighting to stay alive in the tournament here, the Strikers. The Sydney Sixers, of course, they are already safely through for another final series. You just can't keep them out. You can't keep the Sydney Sixers out of playoff contention. And we used to say the same about the Perth Scorchers too. Well, they kept themselves out of finals contention, BBL 14, didn't they? Waste of World of Sports, live on YouTube, live on TikTok, live on Twitch, live on Facebook. Plenty of good stuff coming up. We got the Six Nations. The NRL season's about to start again very, very soon. Abbott starts with a ball swinging back in towards the legs of Carey. Whips it away and well fielded out of deep square. Good cricket all around there. Well bowled, well batted, and even better fielding. Jordan Silk resisting the urge to touch that ball, has he? He might have had a cheeky little dig at it there. It's hit his knuckles here. The ball comes back at him and he touches it. Well, it's going to be 4. He had done so well, Jordan Silk, up until that point. He just couldn't resist sticking the hand out and having a cheeky little push at the ball. Well, it was a solid effort nonetheless, but 4 runs. And Alex Carey, he is starting to get a move along here. 13 off 7. A slower ball wide outside off Sean Abbott. He's not happy with that. And I dare say Alex Carey won't be too happy with it either. He's missed out. Not getting to the pace of that one. We'll also be covering the Royal Rumble on February 2nd. That's going to be a lot of fun. Something a little bit different. 4 deliveries left in this over. Carey goes for it. Smashes it straight down the ground. It has just enough to get down to the fence for 4. Well, is Alex Carey, is he going to lead the resistance here for the Strikers? Is he going to play the Glenn Maxwell role? The Steve Smith role? Take over from what Matt Short did the other night? $17 off 9 for Carey, 1 for 28. The Adelaide Strikers. Sean Abbott. Slower, fuller ball, drifting down the leg side. An ambitious shout for LBW. No interest at all from the umpire. They come through for a leg bye. Heads up cricket there from Alex Carey and Darcy Short. Two balls left here in the power play. They've got to make maximum value out of them. And Darcy Short, a beautiful on drive, beats the man at mid-on, and that's 4 more. Well, it's been a slow start, but at the end of it here, not a bad power play as they move to 1 for 33. 1 delivery still to go. A boundary off this, or a maximum, turns it into a fabulous power play for the Strikers. Well, Darcy Short's nearly chopped on, looking to play it fine. Misses the stumps, though. It's a dot ball. It's 1 for 33 after the power play. .25 the run rate. And a nice recovery here from the Strikers, led by Alex Carey. Big wicket, though, with Matt Short. Matt Short taken in the first over. And now Murphy into the attack. They've turned to spin. Spin has been the golden goose in recent games. And they're straight into it. Murphy starts with a dot ball. Carey slashes it away. Can't beat the man at cover. Drifting onto the leg side now. Carey able to turn this into a huge gap out there, thinking about 2, and they settle for just the single. 1 for 34, 4.2. So they've recovered very nicely here. Alex Carey and Darcy Short now both into double figures. Short, bowled. He's gone for the reverse. Darcy Short's gone for the reverse sweep unnecessarily. And Murphy gets this one to go straight and cleans up his leg stump. Darcy Short has pulled out the reverse, expecting this ball to turn. It flights up and it goes straight on. And his leg stump is taken right on the top. It's 2 for 34. And both Shorts are back in the pavilion now, back in the dugouts. Murphy gets the wicket, which, for what it's worth, is a tick off my multi. Matt Short let me down in the very first over. Rafiq, who have I got today? The Sydney Sixers. even though the Adelaide Strikers have so much more to play for in terms of the tournament, i.e. Sydney Sixers have already qualified, the Adelaide Strikers need to win this to stay alive in the tournament. I still think the Sydney Sixers will just be too strong. Ollie Pope, his highest score this season, this BBL 14, 39. Your multi got done in the first over as well. Yeah, Matt Short, I was so torn about him. It's very, very hard to have an innings like Matt Short did and then come out and back it up again the very next game, you know? So I thought I won't back him for a big score. I thought he'd at least get a 6. I had a feeling he might have got a low score, but I still saw him whacking one over the fence before he went. Let me down in the first over. Alex Carey now skies it, picks out the man on the boundary, and Alex Carey's gone now. 2 wickets in the over for Murphy, and it was the 2 set batsmen. Darcy Short, and now Alex Carey hits it straight to the man at deep mid-wicket. Did not need to play that in the air. Could have just as easily kept it along the ground for the same, well, not for the same result. He got out, but he would have got some runs. 2 wickets. Spin has proved the difference maker again here. And Murphy is bowling well. 2 wickets and 2 runs off this over so far. Paddy Hearn, ahoy mate, welcome back. How are you today? Well, this over has just undone all the recovery that Alex Carey and Darcy Short did so well to build after the early wicket of Matt Short, and they've both just thrown their wickets away. Darcy Short did not need to play a reverse sweep, and needless to say, Alex Carey did not need to hit that through the air. Kite Sue, ahoy mate. How are you doing? They've gone the reverse again here. Alex Ross has come out on ball number 1 and played a reverse sweep. What is going on out there? It's a dot ball. He gets away with it. But they are in self-destruct mode at the moment, the Adelaide Strikers. Someone says, okay, so Adelaide are going to be all out for under 100 at this rate. Wade, if I haven't answered already, Wade, I'm going for the Sydney Sixers. Well, I tipped the Sydney Sixers anyway. Yeah, I'm not really sure why Chris Lynn's not playing tonight. I just read in the pre-match report, I always wait for the teams to be announced before I put my multis on. So I sort of sit there in front of the computer waiting for the teams to get finalised. And yeah, I saw for some reason, no Chris Lynn. It didn't say anything about injury. It just said Chris Lynn not playing tonight. So, Paddy Hearn, you're going to the Sydney Smash this Friday. First ever Big Bash game. Should be a good one, and it should be a good one indeed. And thank you for the 2 roses there, Paddy Hearn. Yep, that should be a good game, that one. Kaitsu, just predicting who's going to win the next Royal Rumble. Well, we will be covering the Royal Rumble here on the Waste to Water Sports live February 2nd. Chauhan into bowl. They're keeping the spin. I believe this is his first game in BBL 14. Keeping the spin on from both ends and keeping the pressure on. Ross backs away, has a swipe at this, misses it. And it's through to the keeper. An appeal for stumping, but he stayed in his crease the whole time. Is Ben a spin bowler or fast bowler? Ben Dorcius. Ben Dorcius is a pace bowler, like medium pace, I would say. Alex Ross off the mark. Just a little push down to long on, long off, whichever one. Chauhan with his last ball. It's been a good first over. Fended away for a dot ball to finish. Just 2 runs from the over again. I had Matt Short to hit a 6. Alex Ross, 10 plus runs. Sean Abbott and Murphy, the wicket takers. So I've got Murphy. Here we go. Ben Dorshus into the attack. None for 9 off his first over. They've decided that 2 overs is enough spin. And I can understand that with Alex Ross out there. Alex Ross is supposedly a spin specialist. I should say a spin batting specialist. A specialist against spin bowling. Something along those lines. That makes sense with Alex Ross on strike and out there. Back to the pace. Ben Dorshus to Ross. Chops it down for a single. Just off the pitch on the offside. Ross moves to 2. 8 more from him, and I get another tick off the multi. I can't win my multi now, of course. So I've just got to hope for a cash back. Three for 38 here. 6.1 overs gone. And after a good job, a recovery effort from Alex Carey and Darcy Short, swung back in favour of the Sixers pretty quickly. Down the ground again for a single. 3 for 39. Ross back on strike. And they threw their wickets away, really. It's all right, Short effed my multi as well. I've got to stop putting guys in the multi that are participating in the first overs. The first couple of overs of a Big Bash game are pretty unpredictable, aren't they? I've got to stop throwing guys in there. Michelle, ahoy there. Just 3 singles off this over so far. And a false start here for Dorshus. Yeah, it's always very iffy, those opening overs. I've got to start picking guys lower down the order. Hope turns this away straight to Steve Smith. There at backward point. More players like Alex Ross. Very nice. Back on the court. Swing and a miss outside off. Hope. We've seen a lot of air swings tonight. The Strikers batsman really struggling to make contact. Dorshus, his last ball, right on the money again. And Pope pushes to the offside for 1. I've got Steve Smith for 20 plus. So hopefully he does at least 20 plus runs. At least 20. 3 for 41 after 7. And that run rate for the Strikers dropping below 6 again. Oh, they did so well. And then feel like they threw it all away. Chauhan back into the attack. Just 2 runs off his first over. Hope on strike, lifts this one up over the top of the covers and away for 4. He had just enough height on that. That poor baby getting thrown around in the air. Doesn't know what to think of the situation. Readjusts and gets more on the leg side. Pope pulls it away. Protection out there on the fence. And just the one run. Chohan, none for 7 off his 1.2. 3 for 46. Well, they've dug themselves a real hole here, the Strikers. Ross sweeps it away out to square leg. Just the one. Ross moves to 4. We need him for 10 plus. Lights this ball up nicely. Pope lunges down to the pitch of the ball, turns it away on the leg side. Just the one run again. Singles are fine at this point in time. It's the boundaries that they'll really be looking to dry up. Puts a lot of pressure on the batting team, a lot more pressure than they probably need at the moment. Ross sweeps for just the one. Ross moves to 5. He's halfway there. Slowly but surely. Slow and steady wins the race. Final ball here of Shohan's over. Drops it in shorter. That must have been enticing. Hope doesn't get hold of it as he pulls it away for a single on the leg side. 3 for 50. The 50 is up for the Adelaide Strikers. 8 overs gone. But it is the Sydney Sixers with the advantage at the moment. Let's see what the old sports bet's doing. Yes, Sydney Sixers, $1.29 favourites. Adelaide Strikers blown out to $3.50. For some reason, the Brisbane Heat, early favourites against the Hobart Hurricanes tomorrow. That's an interesting set of circumstances. Oh, I know why. Obviously, because Lasagna and Koala are back for the home game. That would be shifting the odds in favour of the Heat. Of course. Hope gets this slightly off the outside edge. Steve Smith. Oh, yes. Marnus Labuschagne and Usman Khawaja back for the Brisbane Heat for one night only. Edwards, 1 for 5 off his 1.5 so far, 1.1 so far. Beats the bat again, and they come through for a bye. That is tomorrow night, Michelle. Yes, tomorrow night at the Gabba. Marnus and Usman were allowed one game in BBL 14 before they have to rest again for they have to rest again for the Sri Lanka tour. So obviously they held them back for a home game because of the Monday. Edwards bowling well. And Ross cuts this one away fine. Murphy's out there on the boundary, so just a single. Ross is creeping towards 10 runs here. Billy Johnson, ahoy there. Welcome along, mates. Hope dances down the wicket. turns it away square on the leg side and beats the deep square leg for 4. Now that was a good shot. They need more of that. Three for 56. Ollie Pope, they do need a big score out of him. Could tonight be the night? Drives this one through the offside now, looking for another boundary, but Jordan Silk racing around and picks that one up on the fly. They come back for a second. The Pope just starting to get a little bit more free in his shot making now. Final ball of the second over for Edwards. And the final ball of the 9th over. Advances again, looking for that boundary square, but he gets it a bit finer. And a single to finish. 3 for 59 after 9. Now, the ultimate question. The ultimate strategic question. Do they pull the trigger on the surge immediately? We've seen in the past couple of games, teams leave it 1 or 2 overs beyond the 10 over mark, end up losing a wicket, end up losing a set batsman. Do you pull the trigger immediately? We know what I think. Because I think they should always call it early. Hayden Kerr back into the attack. Hope guides it fine down the offside. Just the one run. Alex Ross now. Alex Ross, boundary please. I can't win my multi anymore, but if we get the rest of the legs correct, we at least get cash back. So for that, we need Alex Ross 10 plus. A straighter ball this time from Kerr, just pushed down to mid-off for a single. Alex Ross happy to do it in ones at the moment. He's making me wait for this one. I actually think they might hold off the power surge here. Ross has faced 11 balls. Pope 17. Ross is yet to find a boundary. They might hold it back to over 13, maybe. Three for 62. Just 3 singles off this over. A good one for Kerr. Well, there is Chris Lynn. Up in the box. Not playing tonight, of course. Ross advances. Turns it to the leg side. Running hard for the first. Thinking about a second. But just a single it is. Ross moves to 8. He's nearly there. Just 2 more runs, mate. You can do it. Two balls left in this over. Kerr, another beautiful straight ball. Well-run single. Didn't beat the infield, so it required good communication. A lot better communication than we saw from some of the Hurricanes runners. Final ball, all singles off this over. Ross on strike. Goes after this one a little more, with a little more aggression. But deep cover is in place, and it's just a single. That is the drinks break. 10 overs gone. It's 3 for 65. Ross is on 9. Watch him get out now. I need him for 10 plus. It's always painful when you need them for a certain score and they get out 1 run short. Not that it matters because Matt Short's already let me down. I had Matt Short to hit a 6. Well, he didn't hit a 6, did he? Skied it straight up in the air in the first over. And Hayden Kerr took a really impressive catch. That's what I wanted to talk about, actually. That catch from Hayden Kerr is a lot more impressive than it probably looked. Just seeing that catch. Like, he took a catch. He was, standing at extra cover, maybe? Standing at extra cover or thereabouts, and the ball went straight up in the air, and you kind of look back on it and go, oh, yeah, what an easy catch. Regulation catch. But if you watch the replay, just suss out how much that ball was swirling around. Hayden Kerr was under it, doing a little dance, basically, trying to stay positioned under it. In the end, he had to fall forward and reach out for it. Did really, really well to take it. Matt Colkin, ahoy, mate. Just sent me the details for tomorrow morning. Very nice. I also hit up Lizette on Instagram for a little bit of hopefully a little bit of a behind the scenes update. But obviously she's quite busy at the moment. Over there in Melbourne for the Australian Open. But if I do get a response, I shall share it with everybody on the live stream. Ezra Robertson, ahoy, mate. Yeah, not sure about Chris Lynn. I mean, we know he's not playing tonight, but we don't know why. I always wait for the teams to be announced before I throw down on a multi, because there's no worse feeling. Well, actually, that's not true. There is a worse feeling, and I think we know what that worst feeling is, but it's a pretty horrible feeling when you slap on a multi and then the game starts and then you find out that your guy's not even playing, so the bet's been voided. Chauhan into ball, his third. Ross goes on the sweep immediately. It has been fielded on the fence. It has saved 6 as he's falling over the rope and backhands it back into the field of play. They will obviously have a closer look at this. Shaw on the rope. If he has saved the 6 here, that might be one of the most impressive things I've ever seen. Leaping. Oh, he saved it. The foot was in the field of play. That is an incredible effort. He has saved 5 runs there. Alex Ross moves to 10, though, in between all that. That's the important thing. Cine, 38, says, my strikers are cheeks. Chauhan floats this one up, tempting. And Pope drills it down the ground, but there is protection down there. Long on and long off are both back. And they race through for 2. Pope turns it to the leg side. Plenty of protection out on the boundaries. Moves to 26 off 22 deliveries. He's on track for his highest score of BBL 14. Ollie Pope. Hunter Gray, ahoy, mate. Now he floats this one up a bit too much. Ross can't get hold of it. Picks out the man at long on. He'll be frustrated there. It's not very often you get a full toss from the spinners. You've got to dispatch those. Still, 7 runs off this over. They've got themselves in a position here, the Strikers, to at least mount some sort of score to bowl at. We've seen what happens if you can just recover and get yourself something to bowl at. We've seen multiple times the pressure that puts on the chasing team. Isaac Holland, how much did Matt Short make? 4. I'm pretty sure. It was under 10 anyway. Never looked comfortable out there tonight, Matt Short. And I can confirm, yes, 4 of 7 balls. 3 for 72 here, though. They are recovering. Once again, recovering. Last time they did this, though, last time they recovered. The power surge has been taken. Power surge activated. NRL Super King, ahoy. Lando Norris, the GOAT, ahoy. I'll tell you what, I don't care necessarily if Lando Norris wins the World Drivers' Championship this season. Just anybody but Max Verstappen, please. Sean Abbott back into the attack now to bowl the first of the surge overs. Drifts onto the legs with the first ball, and Ross glances it fine. Not sure that he got any bat to it, but it's 4 nonetheless. Potentially leg buys, but I think that was off the bat. And that's a poor start from Abbott. He's not bowling all that well tonight, Sean Abbott. Maybe, Matt Short let me down for the Adelaide Strikers. Will Sean Abbott be the one that lets me down for the Sixers? Drifts onto the pads again, but can't get it as square this time, Ross, and they come through for a quick single. Three for 77. The recovery is on here. The recovery is on. Drifts onto the legs again. A half volley, and Pope dispatches it over the square leg boundary for 6. And Sean Abbott is just fluffing his lines here. Here come the Strikers. The season is still ever so slightly alive here. 3 for 83. Plenty of work to do still, though. 11 off the first 3 surge balls. Now they race through for a quick single. Great start to the surge. 12 runs off the opening 4 balls. And it's been relatively risk-free. I would actually say it's been completely risk-free. Completely risk-free. They've dispatched the poor balls, taken a couple of quick singles to the circle. Quality batting. Ross back on strike. Abbott drifts into the pads again, and Ross square of the wicket on the leg side again, and it's 4 more. 16 off this over. Alex Ross moves to 20. Sean Abbott continues to just get it wrong here. Oh, Paddy Hearn. Yes, there's Ollie Pope and Lloyd Pope. Will Main, ahoy, mate. Slower ball. Punched back down to mid-off for a single. And a frustrating over there for Abbott. What was that? 17 from the over. And it's 3 for 88. So, Paddy Hearn, am I to understand that you have perhaps picked the batting Ollie Pope And the bowling, Lloyd Pope, disproportionately in your multi. Ben Dorcius to bowl the second over of the surge. This is a good call. Dorcius has been bowling well. Can he keep it up here? Pressure on. Because the Sixers are just in danger of letting this slip a little bit. First ball, right on the money, but Ross backs away, gives himself room, clanks this through the covers for 4. Good start to the over. Ham and cheese, ahoy there. The Beetle still holding on to hope for the Scorchers. They just have to win by 200. Dorcius, beautiful ball, dot ball. The first one of the power surge. The Ross moves to 25 or 21. Pope, Ollie Pope, 33 off 25. They're recovering nicely here. Jackson says the Stars are going to take the last spot. Ross gets it past the man at mid-wicket. Just the single. Three for 94. We've seen what can happen when teams just recover and put up a defendable total. Now a beautiful straight drive from Pope. Splits mid-on and mid-off. Slows up in the outfield. And it's well fielded out there by Enriques, who taps it back. They still come back for 2 or 3. If you can just post 140, 150, which is certainly not out of the question. Ross steps across the stumps. And he gets a little paddle over the top of the keeper there. Goes the ramp. And they only come back for 2 at the end of that. Yeah, a little high on the bat there. The Hons, ahoy, mate. Ross drives this one through the covers and all the way to the fence. Alex Ross, he's playing well. 14 runs from that over. 16 or 17 from Abbott's prior over. So it's a good 31 runs or thereabouts off the power surge. Brilliant couple of overs there for the Strikers. The Beetle says, have I seen the footage of the bloke crashing his car to meet Sam Constas? I haven't. Brief 103, 13 overs gone. Hayden Kerr back into the attack. Punched down the ground for a single. The outfield's a little slow, but the pitch itself looking immaculate. Abbott hasn't taken a wicket yet, no. Abbott has been bowling very, very poorly tonight. Kerr with another slow ball, taking the pace off once again seems to be the key. Just 2 singles to start this over. So they could get themselves up easily here to 140, 150, depending on wickets, really. If Ross and Pope see out a majority of the innings. So they've fought back nicely here, the Strikers. Brody, Coleman, ahoy, mate. How are we doing tonight? Ross turns this away. Jordan Silk fields it out there at deep mid-wicket. Another single. Brody, it's been one of those games where Adelaide Strikers under the pump early. They started to recover. And then Alex Carey and Darcy Short both threw their wickets away in 1 over, which put the Sixers right back on top. But now Ross and Pope have led the recovery, and the Strikers are looking like they're going to put on some sort of defendable total here. If these two stay out there, 150, 160, certainly not out of the equation. Dan Jam, ahoy, mate. Six off that over. A better one for the Sixers. All singles again. Fake Slim Shady, ahoy. Welcome back. Three for 109. 14 overs gone. Fortnight on top, ahoy. .779 the run rate at the moment. 6 overs remaining. Abbott, none for 29 off his 2 overs so far. Now, in fairness, Abbott has bowled in the power play and in the power surge for his 2 overs so far. So let's see if he can pull his figures back in. His first time here bowling with no fielding restrictions. And Abbott is on the money this time. An ambitious shout for LBW. And it beats Philippi. They're through for a leg bye. He is desperate for a wicket here, Sean Abbott. A monstrous LBW shout, but I think it was going about 60 centimetres over leg stump. Smith's playing tonight, Brody. Yes. Steve Smith for the Sydney Sixers. Abbott is cut away by Pope, but protection out there. A deep cover lurking around. Three for 111. 5 overs to go after this one. At least 6 and over. Oh, almost taken by backward point on the circle, diving to his left. It agonizingly goes through the hands. Oh, that would have been a massive breakthrough. Murphy just couldn't quite get there. Pain for Sean Abbott. He is not having a good night. Pope lashes this away. Square on the offside. They come back for two. That's well run. Alvin Kamara. This is at Adelaide Oval. 2 balls left here for Abbott. Wide outside off stump. Punched away from Pope for 4. Well, Sean Abbott is just not getting it right tonight. We all have days like that, don't we? You can't be on every single game. And Sean Abbott's having one of his off nights tonight. Pope just stands and delivers. And they are on their way for a decent score here. Final ball of the over here for Abbott. None for 37 of 2.5. And he finishes with a single pushed down to a long off. 3 for 119. 5 overs to go. You would expect at a minimum 6 and over from here. So 30 more runs gets them 149. Turn a couple of ones into twos, the odd boundary or so. I reckon they're still on here for 160. 150, 160. And if somebody like Jamie Overton comes in and goes ballistic, 180 might not be out of the equation as well. They have set themselves up and recovered nicely here, the Strikers. The Sydney Sixers have really let this slip. Lockie Bragger, ahoy! Alvin, no. We'll be doing the Six Nations. We'll be doing the Super Rugby. We'll be doing the NRL. State of Origin Lions Tour. Also be covering the WWE Royal Rumble on February 2nd. But I certainly won't be doing the AFL. We have been discussing about covering the AFL on the channel as a whole. But it would be by somebody else. It wouldn't be by me. I've got enough to do without AFL as well, you know. TikTok Aaron 3931. No, unfortunately, I was late to the party. Didn't know that BBL Supercoach was a thing. But BBL 15, I will definitely be all across it. Chauhan back into the attack for his final over. None for 20 so far. Pope goes after him. Lifts him up over the top of mid-on. Well fielded. Steve Smith in the outfield. Saves 2 runs there. Ollie Pope has brought up his 50, by the way. 50 runs for Ollie Pope. Chauhan flights this one up, and it's been taken to task. Ollie Pope sends it over the covers for 6. Here they come, the Adelaide Strikers. Oh, 190 might be on now. 190 could be the score. Boy, they've recovered well. The Sydney Sixers desperately need a wicket. Pope turns it away on the leg side. Just a single. A single feels like an anticlimax of sorts. $11 from the over. Another big one for the Strikers. They race through for a quick single to finish. 12 off that over. 3 for 130. What a partnership, says Nick Clark. It has been a potentially season-saving partnership An incredible effort by these two. What a recovery. A second recovery from the Adelaide Strikers. The first recovery, of course, Alex Carey and Darcy Short. But this, the proper recovery. Hope with his first 50 of BBL 14. What a time to deliver it. Someone says, thought we were cooked at the start. Not looking too bad now. Looking very good now. 4 overs to go. $160, very much achievable. $170, $180 if they push. And they've got the wickets in the dugout to be able to push hard. 1 for 14. Edwards back into the attack to bowl his third. Ollie Pope with a much-needed 50. Swing and a miss at this one, outside off. Ollie Pope leaving it all on the line out there for that one. Four overs remain, or under 4 overs now. Isaac Holland, is this Ollie Pope's last game before he leaves? Oh, good question. Ollie Pope skies this one. Will it be taken? Josh Phillippe's under it, the man with the gloves. And that is a huge breakthrough because that will just tighten things up a little bit. Edwards gets the breakthrough. Philippe with the catch. Ollie Pope has done his job, though. 50 runs. And it's got the Strikers back on track with a few overs to spare. Overton will come out now with free license, I'm assuming. Yeah, Jamie Overton will come in next. Lockie Bragger, not a fan of players being here for half a season, should be either all in or don't play the season. Well, I agree with you, Lockie, but honestly, and I've had this problem with the Brisbane Heat for the longest time. Brisbane Heat always used to pick an international that was never going to be around for the whole time. But honestly, yes, it is ridiculous, but I mean, that's on the clubs. That's on the clubs for even signing them in the first place, right? I would rather give the position to a promising junior player from the region that is guaranteed to be playing the entire tournament than spending big money on an overseas player who's not even going to be able to commit for the whole season. So, yeah, I absolutely agree. But at the end of the day, it's up to the clubs. The clubs need to stop signing them. And honestly, it really doesn't matter. I don't think Ollie Pope is bringing the people in. Like, I can understand, and that's no offense to Ollie Pope, but, I mean, I can understand the Australian internationals are obviously going to come back and play whatever games they can, and then they have to go again. That makes sense. But in terms of international players, I mean, like, unless you're signing like a Chris Gale or that caliber of player, is it really going to matter in terms of the crowd? Like, these aren't exactly really, really high-level profile international players that are coming over, right? Overton drives this down the ground. Has he got all of it? Yes, he has. 6 straight down the ground. Chicken nugget, ahoy. So that's my thing on the international players. Bring them in, sure, but I mean, make sure they're available for the whole thing. That's what the Perth Scorchers always used to do so well. And that's why the Perth Scorchers were traditionally always such a strong unit. They had a squad. It wasn't stacked with international players. They had some, obviously, but it wasn't stacked with international players. Someone says, who's my favourite BBL team? Yeah, the Brizzy Heat. Hayden Kerr into Bowley's last. Ross whips this off the pads. Now, this is interesting. Murphy, I would love to know the strategy here from the Sydney Sixers. Strategically, the Sydney Sixers. Todd Murphy bowled 1 over, took 2 wickets for only 2 runs, and we've never seen him again. Can someone explain that to me? Todd Murphy, 1 over, 2 wickets, 2 runs, and we've never seen him again all night. Do you not give a bowler who is 2 for 2 off 1 over another over? Kerr drifts onto the legs. Turned away for 1. Giles Kitchen says, yeah, Moses needs to use him. I don't understand it. Fortnight on top, you're a Brizzy Heat supporter too. Very nice. Someone was just thinking that, not complaining about it though. More runs for Adelaide. I understand it's too late to bring him back now, Lockie, but he bowled that over very early on in the innings, made the 2 big wickets, Darcy Short and Alex Carey. Surely you give him another over. And if he gets tonked, he gets tonked. I mean, it's too late to bring him back in now. But I'm just suggesting, why did he not get another over early on when he was doing the damage? It's too late to bring him on now for sure. Overton would send him for 36, I reckon. 4 for 144, 17.5 overs gone. It's just another over of singles here from Kerr. He's bowled well. None for 22 of his 3.5 so far. 2 overs left after this one. At least 12 runs you would expect. Yeah, 160 plus is still on the cards here. Ross down the pitch. Lifts it up, scoops it up over the leg side, and it's for another 6. Alex Ross. He was very slow to get going. But going he is now. It's 4 for 150. Ross moves to 48 with that one, I think. Who's going to win? Wow. The Adelaide Strikers will go into the innings break carrying all the momentum unless the Sixers can finish with a flurry of wickets. Sportsbet still has the Sydney Sixers incredibly short-priced favourites. Considering the game situation. Jacko B, Brisbane Heat. Yeah. Ben Dorshus in to bowl the 19th. Right on the money from ball one. Overton, though, smacks him down the ground. Protection at long off. And they come back for two. That's well run. Yeah, I'm predicting 168 here will be their final score. Oh, here we go. This is big news. Overton punching that one back down the ground, and he's hurt his hand. Did he hurt his hand? This could be big because Overton will be called upon to bowl some overs. Oh, and he's getting looked at. We've got a little bit of a stoppage. Well, this would be big because that would make the Strikers down a bowler. He's got a wrist issue. Not only would this slow down the back end of their batting here, but this could be impacting their bowling as well. Lockie Bragger, no, I will be covering the game here live on TikTok, live on YouTube. Wasted World of Sports. We are doing, in 2025, though, we are doing a live show through the NRL season. At some point, probably for my birthday in April, we will be doing a live show. And that will be in Brisbane, because that's where I live. So we're currently sorting out a venue for that one. Oh, I'm a Broncos fan then? No. Oh, God, no. God in heaven, no. Never. No, actually, the only Brisbane teams that I support are the Brisbane Heat and the Brisbane Bandits in the baseball. Ross goes after this one, gets a top edge. It's gone up in the air. Players coming in from everywhere and taking a brilliant diving catch. Shaw, I believe it is. Again, it's swirling around in the wind. A difficult chance. Well taken. That is an impressive catch. Another one for the Sixers. He's overrun it at first as it swirls back. I mean, they have still let this inning slide, but that's a good catch. Very impressive. Van Dorschus with the wicket, and it was Shaw who took the catch. Ross falls painfully short of his 50. Yeah, so in the NRL, I go for the Sharks. And my most hated team, Raiders. Ezra Robertson says another difficult catch. Similar to Kerr's. Very similar, swirling around in the breeze. Shaw had a lot further to run. That makes his slightly more impressive, I say. He had a lot further to run and get himself into position. As Menanti out to the crease. Menanti goes after it straight away. Scoops it down the ground just short of the man at long on. I think the Sydney Sixers have too much strike power throughout their entire batting lineup. So I can understand why they are still favourites with the bookies, even though the Strikers have gone on and put on a decent score here. And the score keeps ticking over. Manatee pulls this away for 6. Dorcius drops it in a little short. And Menanti just pulls it away, square of the wicket. 58 metres. Wow, that's a short boundary. That is a short boundary. 58 metres. Final ball here for Dorcius. And it's through to the keeper for a dot. Well bowled. Well, he seems frustrated, though, Dorcius, for some reason. Ends his figures at 1 for 38. 5 for 161. Oh, what did I say? 168. 168, I think, was my predicted final score. So they would need 7 off this over. I mean, not that there's anything braggadocious about picking the score. I did only predict it like 2 overs ago. Sean Abbott, none for 38 off his 3 so far. Can he finish with a wicket? Oh, absolutely, someone. Absolutely, yeah. We love calling the state of origin. Oh, and it's a full toss over waist height to start, pulled away for 4. That's not a good start at all. Well, Sean Abbott has not had a good night. And it goes from bad to worse. Jeez, when you're not on, right? We all have bad nights. Sean Abbott is having one of his worst. A no ball, and this will be a free hit. Wow. 180 might be back on the cards now. Half volley drilled down the ground. And it's 1 bounce over the rope for 4. 5 for 170. This is an incredible recovery for the Strikers. Send Gremlin, hoping the Sixers dump the Strikers so I can get my frustration out on our flogging the other night. Drifting onto the pads, Overton turns it away fine, and they come back for 2. Overton retains the strike. Doesn't seem to be anything wrong with his wrist. Oh, jeez. 180. Let's keep an eye on these match odds. 180 plus. I might be going with the Adelaide Strikers as slight favourites at the innings break. Overton chips it over the top of the infield. Bounces short of the man at long on. Riley Jones, one of the ultimate questions I've been talking about. Murphy, 1 over, 2 for 2. Never to be seen again for the rest of the night. That will just be the most bewildering thing. I mean, I don't care what your plans are. Like, you obviously have a set plan before the game starts. We're going to bowl. This will be our bowling strategy. I understand that. But if somebody comes out and gets 2 wickets for 2 runs in their opening over, surely you go, you know what? It might be their night tonight. Let's give him another one. Bowl him again straight away. I will forever be scratching my head at that call. But we will look at that scorecard and see Murphy 1 over, 2 for 2. And that was the only part that he played. Two boundaries to finish, 184, let's say. Jai Marshall, ahoy, mate. Sean Abbott, Wide outside off, lifted over the top of backward point for 4. Well, there we go. There's 1. Sean Abbott has not had a good night tonight. When have you ever seen Sean Abbott with figures like this? It's 5 for 180. The Strikers have recovered. Boy, have they recovered. Sean Abbott, none for 57. 3.5 overs. Surely this is his worst figures of all time. All right, boundary to finish. Strikers 5-184. Let's see. It's right in the slot, driven down the ground. Long on and long off of there. It will be cut off, and they'll push back for a second. Jamie Overton finishes with a flurry, 32 or 14. The Strikers 5 for 182, and they go in with all the momentum to the innings break. And the Adelaide Strikers have now really... Remember, early on in the Strikers innings, the Sydney Sixers were paying $1.20 and the Strikers were paying $3.50. The Adelaide Strikers are now paying $1.95. The Sydney Sixers $1.86. Still slight favourites. A couple of early wickets, though. I mean, imagine if Steve Smith gets out for a golden duck. If Steve Smith goes for a golden duck, watch those odds crumble. 5 for 182 after the start they had. Incredible stuff. Well, the Adelaide Strikers, we talk about recovering to 140, 150 maybe. It's not a good score, but you've given yourself something to bowl at. Well, they've given themselves well and truly something to bowl at here. They've ended up with a very impressive score, 182 at a run rate of 9.1 per over. And the Sydney Sixers, they're going to have to be really, really smart and controlled in this run chase. Don't forget as well, for those who play Hit Wicket on mobile devices, I have created for us a Hit Wicket Alliance. So if you want to join the Alliance, just search for Wasted World of Sports there in your Hit Wicket app. Come and join the team. All right, innings break here. I will have myself a very quick break, and we'll be back for the run chase after this. The Sydney Sixers have left themselves a lot of work to do to try and run this down. Ham and cheese, you're almost at level 5. Nice. Oh, yeah, that's the other thing. If you're new to the game, you have to get yourself to level 5, which is actually relatively not time-consuming and quite easy to do to be able to join an alliance. All right, quick break. We'll be back for the run chase after this. The Adelaide Strikers, 5 for 182, recovered nicely, and we've got a game on our hands. Back after this. All right. How are we doing, everybody? Now, for those on TikTok, during the innings break, should I just end it and then start a new stream for the run chase? Or maybe maybe I can just have something on the screen that says it's the innings break. I'll be back shortly. Probably looks a bit weird to pop in and there's nothing there. Anyways, very new to TikTok, so this is all stuff we can work out in future. Ham and cheese, your tooth just came out. Oh, well, some money coming your way then, mate. Pop it under the pillow and the tooth fairy. There's actually a fantastic video on, I don't know whether it's staged or not. It probably is. Most of these things are, aren't they? But it's a video and the kid's like, Dad, the tooth fairy left me $100 last night. And the dad's like, no, the tooth fairy left you $10 last night. No, it's $100. The dad gets up out of the chair, goes to his wallet, looks. Obviously, there's a $100 note missing from his wallet. Ah, damn it. Daddy's been drinking again. Giants #1, ahoy. Matt Colkin is watching the Perth Wildcats and Brisbane Bullets. Very nice. Who's your team in the NBL, Matt? Oh, that's what I was going to do. The other legs of my multi. Even though it's got no chance of paying off, we still may as well keep track of them. We want multis 2. Multis 2 to become multis 1. So for those just jumping in, the Adelaide Strikers have recovered extremely well here and they've set a total, a hell of a decent total at that. 5 for 182 they finished up with it. Looked at one point like they might struggle to get 100. But like other teams this season, batting first, looking like it's going to be a struggle to get to 100. They've recovered nicely. And they have got something to bowl at here. And they're really just a quick wicket away from this game completely swinging on its head. They've certainly made it difficult on themselves here, the Sydney Sixers. Okay, so we've got Josh Philippe to hit a 6, Steve Smith for 20-plus runs, Lloyd Pope to take a wicket, and Jamie Overton to take a wicket. Now, Jamie Overton's image kind of screwed up there. Here we go. Run chase about to commence. And it's Josh Philippe opening the batting. Brandon Doggett to open the bowling. Here we go. First ball of the run chase. Philippe drives confidently but can't beat the circle. A dot ball to start. I wouldn't say that I really have an NBL team, Matt. It would probably have to be the Brisbane Bullets, I suppose. May as well go for another Brisbane team. Doggett in again. Bangs this one in short. Swinging away. Way away. Wide down the offside. First runs on the board for the Sixers. Not off the bat. We saw a lot of early movement from the Sixers when they bowled. Doggett starting much the same way. Philippi turns this off the pads and they come through for a quick single. And Steve Smith will be on strike. Oh, Steve Smith, he was just itching to get down the Strikers' end. None for two of two balls. Here we go. Golden duck for Steve Smith. I called it. Let's see if it happens. Brendan Doggett into Smith. Swinging away outside off. Smith hangs the bat out. A dot ball. After the first over, the Strikers were none for five. I should imagine that it'll be very, very close to being similar. Oh, we've got a great chase on our hands here. Smith scoops it off the pads. There is protection out there on the boundary. They should get at least two, though. And it's none for four after four. Bohan Kevin. Ahoy there, mate. Better beer tonight. Two balls remain in this over. Smith pulls this away over the square leg fence for six with confidence. Doggett just bangs it in a little too short. And Steve Smith just rolls with it, looking very comfortable. Oh, that's a monster of a hit. 81 meters. And on the back of a century in the last game, he has started with confidence here tonight. Cool, calm, collected, casual. Pulling that one away square for a maximum. Doggett gets this one a bit fuller. Smith pushes it back down the pitch for a dot ball. None for 10 after the first over. You got to put the tooth in under the pillow at night. That's how it works, isn't it? Thank you very much for the kind words there, Bohan Kevin. That's nasty. You put it under the pillow and the tooth fairy leaves you money. That works, isn't it? AB1 says, amazing shot from Smith. Certainly was. He got all of it. And Thornton into bowl the second over. Philippi. Even when he plays a defensive shot back down the pitch, Philippi, it still looks like it's just full of aggression. .173 needed off 113 balls. Steve Smith, though, could make very light work of that. Thornton to Philippi, pulls this one away with authority into the gap. 4 runs. Oh, he absolutely smashed that. Too short from Thornton. Philippi says, thank you very much. I'll have some of that. Pomfa. Fantastic start here for the Sixers run chase. Slip in place. Thornton drifts onto the pads. Philippi flips it away. Philippi says, thank you very much. Back-to-back boundaries. Well, this good start is turning into a tremendous one. Philippi just glancing it off the pads. Eight runs off this over. A good one again for the Sixers. Thornton corrects his line. Philippi punches back down the ground. And that's what I'm saying. Even a defensive stroke from Philippi looks like it's just laced at... Oh, yeah, she did message back, but she messaged back with... she messaged back with a reel from the practice courts. And it just simply says exactly what you said to me. Hang on, I'll read it. I'll read it out. Oh, is this a wicket? Thornton, we'll come back to that. Philippi. I took my eye off the screen for 1 second. And Philippi is out. And Philippi's let me down in the multi. Wide outside off. Philippi tries to cut it. Tries to chop it away through the covers. But it's plucked out of the air. Well taken. Philippi goes. I needed him to hit a 6. And there is the wicket. 1 for 18. A much-needed breakthrough there for the Strikers, keeping themselves in this game well and truly. Yeah, so she sent me excited for tomorrow. Doubles first at 11 a.m. on Court 8. They still have Smith, yes, but it can't always be a one-man show, right? A.m. my time, correct. Thornton into Edwards. Is this a promotion up the order for Edwards? Smith out in the next few overs, and it should be good for Adelaide. Bad storms in New South Wales right now. Just in case says it's a one-man show when Maxwell is in the team. Must be talking about the Melbourne Stars there. Smith falls over. He fell at his bum as he tries to get across to the offside and ramp this one away. Traditional cricket shots, Stephen. Traditional cricket shots are much better than this nonsense. Mads. I thought you'd already stopped going for the Strikers, Mads. It's all right. I'm just mucking about, having a laugh. I know exactly how it is. Every single year I say that I'm not following the Heat anymore. And every year thereafter, I keep coming back. Philippi is not having the best of seasons, is he, Mark? Absolutely not. Someone says I've noticed a lot of ramping this season. Yes, and I can't for the life of me understand why. I mean, it looks pretty when it comes off, but it's a very high-risk shot for often a low reward. Traditional cricket shots for mine. If anybody, as Smith, with a traditional cricket shot, scoops this one over the top of mid-wicket, they'll come back for a second. Honestly, if I were a coach of a T20 squad, and I would not have anybody on my team that played ramp shots. Well, actually, I will say that there are scenarios for it. 1 for 20, 2.3 overs in, chasing a score of 180 is not a scenario for it. As Smith picks the slower ball, lifts it over the top of mid-off, and it has just enough on it with a nice, pure, traditional cricket shot, scoops it up over mid-off down to the boundary. See how he did that? A traditional cricket shot. But yes, I will retract from that statement. There are certain circumstances and in a game where a ramp shot would be completely out of the ordinary and take a bowler by surprise and get you a bonus 4 runs, as that's right in the slot, and Smith pulls this away off the back foot for 6. Now that is the most traditional of traditional cricket shots right there. And it brings a maximum. That was a half volley right in the slot. Thank you very much. Right in the swinging arc. Boom. Steve Smith moves to 20, and that is another pointless tick off my multi. Lots of chat now from the fielding team wondering, how do we bowl to this guy? Where do we put the ball? He just keeps smashing them away. Wherever we bowl it, he deals with it. Final ball of the over, slower ball. Good length. A single down to long on. Smith moves to 21 of 10. Edwards yet to get off the mark. 1 for 31. 3 overs gone. They're well and truly on top of the required run rate. The wicket of Philippi. And yes, as it was brought up a little earlier in the chat room, Josh Philippi is not having the best of seasons. We'll add him to the list. We've actually got a little list going. Players who are severely underperforming. Ollie Pope just got himself off the list with that performance tonight. But Fraser McGurk is obviously leading the pack. Philippi is probably worth a mention in there. Thornton back onto bowl. Wide outside off. Smith scoops it up over the top of the infield for 4. Well, that is just pure timing. There was no aggression in that shot at all. That was just all perfectly timed. The swing through to perfection and just guides it on its way. Four to start the over. Colin Munro. Let's put Colin Munro on the list. And Swepson too, I reckon. Swepson's really underperformed. As Smith nearly chops this back onto the stumps. Oh, that was so close. Well, the ball kind of got caught up in Smith's jersey there, it looked like. And he had to fling the bat back around to paddle it away from the stumps. It's off his arm. It's off he's inside edged it, I think. Off the pad, up onto the arm, and it nearly falls back onto the stumps. What a way to get bowled out if that had fallen back down. And now he gets an inside edge, chopping it back past the stumps again. Lloyd Pope slides, feels it. They come back for 2, though. 6 runs off the over. And very unlucky to not have a wicket, and a big wicket it would have been. Yeah, what maximum, ham and cheese? Will someone hit a 6? Surely someone will hit a 6. You would expect at least one every single game. No ball. Thornton's been called for a no ball, and this will be a free hit, and you would have to back Steve Smith in here for a 6. A free hit. Thornton to Smith. What can he manufacture here? Nothing. Swing and a miss. Well bowled. Extremely well bowled from Thornton. And he gets a nod of acknowledgement from Smith as well. Very well bowled. Steve Smith nods his head as he is beaten clean. One for 38. Oh, a Glenn Maxwell 6. Surely. Surely. Right in the slot, and Smith dispatches it. Speaking of 6s, that's gone about 10 rows back. Over the rope, over the fence. Almost into the second tier. 91 metres. Steve Smith got all of that. It was right in the slot again. A half volley right in the arc. Bread and butter for a batsman like Steve Smith. Bread and butter for a batsman like Glenn McGrath, really. Poor bowling. Two deliveries left. Turning into a big over. Full toss. Lifted outside off stump. Picks out the man at backward point for a single. This partnership, 34 runs. Actually, a little bit more than that. This partnership with the extras. But 34 runs for Smith, none for Edwards. Where have I seen this before? Edwards to face just his second delivery. Thornton right on the money, but Edwards tries to scoop him down the ground, gets a slight outside edge. Just enough on it to take it over the circle for 1. 1 for 46. That's the end of the power play. A good one for the Sixers, but they did lose the wicket of Josh Philippe. I would say that they are still well on top of this run chase, though, at the moment. Be right back. Lloyd Pope into the bowling attack. Starts with a 2. Smith on strike. 134 off 95. Turns it away off the pads again. Running hard for the first one again, but just a single on this occasion. Sick bed 11 says Smithy. Doing the job again so far tonight. 37 off 18. The current run rate 11.54. The required run rate 8.4. So even with a big power play, they haven't brought that down too much at the moment. Another single for Edwards. Happy to play the support role here for Steve Smith, and why not? When Smith is in the kind of form that he's been in, why not send him down there to the striker's end? Five off the over. He's well on the way. SK, well on the way. 38 runs off 19 balls. I had him in my multi for 20 plus, so he's done all I needed him to do. Edwards gets the bottom edge on this. On the bounce to the keeper, who dropped it anyway. Alex Carey. But a dot ball. A dot ball for the Adelaide Strikers. Crucial. Good over so far for Pope. Just the 5 runs from it. Outside edge. No slip. The slip was just taken out. The slip was literally just taken out. And now Edwards gets the outside edge through the newly vacant slip cordon for 4. Well, that is just painful. Painful for the Adelaide Strikers. I reckon he did it on purpose. Is Edwards good enough to manufacture an outside edge through the slips just to be a cheeky bugger? Jake Ponchi, ahoy, mate. It's your second last day and last night at the Gold Coast. Ah, very nice. Did you go skydiving? There's not proper skydiving. There's actually a really cool down the Gold Coast, one of those indoor skydiving places. Those those big fans that shoot you up into the air. Simulated skydiving. Buckingham Palace into bowl. It's 1 for 56 here. 5 overs gone. Smith on strike. 38 off 19. And he immediately pulls him away for 6. The first ball, too short. Steve Smith, too good. Pulled away over square leg for 6. Moves to 40-something. 44. "67 meters over what is clearly a short boundary there on that side of the field." How about Ripley's Believe It or Not? Jake Ponchi down at Main Beach. 1 for 62. Better ball this time from Buckingham. Smith fends it back down the pitch. They come through for a single. Smith moves to 45 off 21. The Sixers need 120 off 88. And the Strikers need wickets. Let's suss out the odds here. The Strikers had pulled the odds right back towards parity. And now the Strikers have blown out to $4. And the Sydney Sixers are $1.23 favourites. $4 is the worst that the Strikers have blown out all night. I reckon that's a little bit harsh. I don't think that they're $4 out of this game, to be honest. If they get a wicket, and especially the wicket of Smith, that changes the whole complex of the game. Edwards, swing and a miss. Good ball from Buckingham. Right on the length. Swinging away from the right-hander. A beautiful ball. Aiming at that... Well, he wasn't even aiming at the 4th stump there. He was aiming at about stump number 8 or 9. But still a good ball nonetheless. Yeah, I think Sportsbet have done the Adelaide Strikers dirty there with that. $4. A couple of wickets, that'll drop in. A good opportunity for the sports traders out there. A wicket. And they'll drop back below $4, and you've got a chance there to make some coin. A couple of dot balls here from Buckingham Palace. Good for the Strikers. Smith is the key wicket, though. I mean, that much is obvious. Steve Smith is the key wicket. Edged! No, not edged. Well, that's the second time tonight I've heard a noise as the ball goes past the outside edge. And it got me excited again. What is that noise I keep hearing? He's just hung the bat out. There was a noise. Don't tell me it's clipped the top of the stumps. But that's the second time tonight I've heard a clear noise through to the keeper. Rock my balls. Ahoy there, mate. An edge is when it hits the edge of the bat. Buckingham Palace, full toss, turned away from Edwards. They run hard on the first. Smith wants two. Smith comes back for two. The throw to the keeper's end is a direct hit. And the wicket. Edwards thumps his bat in frustration because he knows there were not 2 runs there. But he can't turn around and have a crack at Steve Smith, can he? So he whacks the turf in frustration. Smith always wanted 2. Edwards was never interested. Hesitation. Smith is already down the other end before Edwards takes off. And a direct hit cleans him up. Right, now watch the odds tumble below 4. Honestly, Big Bash cricket is a sports trader's dream. Opportunity to make so much money. It'll drop below 4. You can then trade it off the other way. And you're laughing all the way to the bank. God bless Big Bash cricket. Unbelievable direct hit, says Jake. Ham and Cheese says, bro, got his teammate out. Steve Smith always wanted 2 there. Smith was always coming for 2 runs. Moses Enriques. This now becomes a very key partnership. And look at that. The Strikers have dropped to $2.75. I said Sportsbet were doing the Adelaide Strikers dirty. They weren't $4 outsiders in the game situation. Well, Darcy Short into bowl now. Steve Smith on strike. This seems like an odd call. Steve Smith will have a field day here against Darcy, won't he? Well, he would have had, except he's cleaned up Enriquez down the non-striker's end. Smith onto the back foot, punches it back down the ground, straight into the legs of his partner. Well, if he's not running them out, he's trying to knock them out. Short drops this one in halfway down the pitch. Smith pulls it away. Protection out on the leg side boundary. Just a single. Enriquez on strike. Ham and Cheese says, remember the Australian cricket moment where Stark catches Moses on the laptop. Floats this one up. Enriquez punches away to the offside. Just the single. Not a bad over this one from Short. Just the 2 singles from it so far. The Beatles says, bad night to be a teammate of Smithy. Certainly seeming that way. Oh, that's way wide outside off. That's a poor ball. Got that horribly wrong. Slipped out of the hands, I reckon. Darcy Short, well wide. Corrects nicely on this occasion. Smith on 46. Just pushes it to the onside for a single. Moves to 47. He couldn't possibly get out for 49, could he? Could he? Enriquez backs away, picks out the fielder on the offside, and a dot ball. Yes, Smith is in the Australian team, so he'll be departing before the finals. The Beetle reckons Smith to get 86. The Real Sixer fan says Steve Smith. Hey, you know, I always get a laugh whenever I'm watching American Dad and Steve Smith. Hadn't thought about that, actually. I think every time that I put Steve Smith in my multi, I should put a picture of Steve Smith from American Dad. T20 is in the Olympics in 2028. Will I be streaming that? Well, let's wait and see if I'm even still alive in 2028. That is a long way away to be planning live streams. Has it come in to replace breakdancing, has it? Bloody ray gun destroying the entire breakdancing scene worldwide. Lloyd Pope back into the attack. Slowing this run rate down. Enriquez turns at leg side. Three singles to start this one. Smith on 48. Looking for that 50. Wide outside off. Too wide? Yes, it is. Too wide. Umpire calls it. Floats this one up. Smith cuts it away to the offside for one. Protection out there at cover. 49 for Smith. Oh, he's on that painful score. Enriquez cuts it away. Deep covers out there again. Called into the action. Happy to just take the ones here. And why not? I mean, that required run rate is still hovering around 8.5. It's up to 8.88 now. As long as it stays under 9, they're well in this game. Smith brings up the 50. Punching it back down the ground to long on. A half century for Smith. 50 off 27 balls. End of the 8th over. The Sixers need 107 from 72. Cozza, ahoy, mate. The Beatles says, who's my favourite cricketer of all time? Oh, in all honesty, my favourite cricketer of all time, Brian Lara. What a legend. He broke records, had his own records broken, said, nah, bollocks to that. Breaks the records again to reclaim them. What a legend. The Real Sixer fan, yours is Virat Kohli. Well, Matt Short bringing himself onto bowl. Interesting. A barrage of spin. The Beatle favourite cricketer is Adam Gilchrist. Adam Gilchrist, Sri Lanka in general, really. Jayasuriya and Sangakkara, Sri Lankan cricketers who revolutionised the one-day game. And Adam Gilchrist was kind of like the first of the Australian brigade to come through, wasn't he? Gilchrist, Hayden, Justin Langer. that sort of took that really, really aggressive mindset that Sri Lanka started and adopted it to Australian cricket as well. If I've got everything correct there. 3 singles to start here for Matt Short, and that current run rate drops below 10. The required run rate and current run rate starting to link up. Henriquez pulls this away for 4. In between square leg and mid wicket. And that is a relieving boundary. I was playing some Cricket 24 actually last night. I just discovered that Cricket 24 is free for PlayStation Plus members as they push hard for 2 here. They come back for the second. They take on the arm and only just get there. After the run out we saw just before, a dangerous 2, but they get there safely in the end. Two for 85 here. 98 needed of 67 balls. Should be quite manageable. The Short floats this one up. Henriquez pushing hard on the first. Wants the second again. Steve Smith always wanted 2. 11 from the over. Moses would be the captain, I think, for sure. I couldn't understand the logic of Steve Smith coming back into the squad, giving him the captaincy for the 2 or 3 games that he's going to be here for, and then giving it back to Moses. I will look that up and confirm it, though, so that we're absolutely, so that we're saying the right thing. But I would think so. Yes, he is. Yeah, it wouldn't have made sense for Steve Smith to come in for just 1 or 2 games and get the captaincy. Overton into the bowling attack. Slower ball. Smith scoops it up just short of mid-off. Just short. Overton nearly starts with a wicket. I have not, ham and cheese. I've not seen that. And he says he's only listening to Spotify. Was he really listening to Spotify, or was he watching things? Overton to Smith. Wide outside of Smith. Cuts at this and misses it. And it's wide. It's been called wide. Well, that's a harsh call, I think. That is a very harsh call. And Overton believes so as well. He's having words with the umpire there, saying, how do you figure that's a wide, mate? You're on crack. Sigma, as a Heat fan, you want the Sixers to win and the Stars to lose their last upcoming game. Oh, I feel that, mate. As a Heat fan myself, I totally feel that. Taken! Smith's gone for 52. Jamie Overton gets the breakthrough. That is a huge wicket. That is a monster of a wicket. Smith just cuts it straight to backward point, right into the chest. And that's an easy catch. Smith falls. And the Adelaide Strikers, their season is still alive. They are still in this game. Smith goes for 52. It's 3 for 88. And the Strikers are into this, up to their necks now. I can't believe that Sportsbet were offering $4 at one point. Be right back. Well, here we go. That $4 looking very juicy. I reckon it's coming even further now. I might even have... it'd be bold to say that the Strikers are favourites now, but that'll tighten right up. As a matter of fact, it's been, suspended. Betting has been suspended at the moment while they sort that out. Yeah, that goes to show that the bookmaker is in meltdown right now when betting gets suspended. They are realizing they put that $4 out there, and they are in panic mode right now. Three for 88. 95 needed still off 65 balls. Jordan Silk out to face Overton. Turns it off the pads, immediately off the mark. Just the single. Oh, direct hit from the outfield, and that's an overthrow. Unlucky to hit the stumps. Gives away that extra run. Ham and Cheese says, thoughts on Moses cheating on his laptop, trying to do the same sandpaper cheat tactic. There we go. Strikers, $2.40 now. Bringing it in. Enriquez turns it off the pads. Well, actually, Silk would have been back on strike, wouldn't he? Or Enriquez was on strike. There we go. Christian asks how the Stars can make the finals. Well, Ham and Cheese knows all about that. Harry, ahoy there. We have got game on here. Blake, ahoy. Such a bad storm. I've heard that the storms in Sydney at the moment are quite aggressive. Good over this one from Overton. Enriquez cuts it away. Fine. Just the one. 5 runs, and a wicket. 5 runs and a wicket off this over. The turning point. Steve Smith gone. Sigma, the Stars have to win their last game, and Strikers have to lose, and Heat have to lose for them to make it. Something along those lines, yes. Slower ball, beats him. Big appeal for LBW, given. Wow, this has got to be reviewed. This has got to be reviewed. It's been given. A huge appeal from Overton. It looked like it was going over the top. They've got to review this. He was back in the crease. But just the game situation alone, they have to review this. Height will be the only thing here. Height is the only thing that could save the day for Jordan Silk. Oh, it's pretty high. It's pretty high on the pad. That might be going over. I think this is missing the stumps. It's pretty high. It's above the knee roll. Pitching outside. Impact is in line. Wicket's hitting. Oh, wow. I can't believe that. That looks so high on the pad. Well, it stays out. I think DRS has got that a little wrong. Sometimes DRS throws up some weird and wonderful things compared to the naked eye. Jordan Silk's on his way. 3 runs for 3 balls. LBW to Overton. And the Adelaide Strikers, they are on top now. Who is going to save the day for the Sixers? They still need 91 runs. The Adelaide Strikers, see, how important is it to just fight hard and get yourself a score, even if all looks lost? Keep it up. Fight back. They set themselves a score, and the Sixers are under the pump now. Lachlan Shaw to the crease. Yeah, I've got to say, Sigma, to be perfectly honest, that looked like it was bouncing way over leg stump for mine. Lloyd Pope back into the attack. Appeal for LBW. Pope hasn't even turned around to look. And the batsman walks. There's another one down, and the Strikers are flying home now. Lloyd Pope gets a wicket, which is a tick off my multi, for what it's worth. So Josh Philippe, the only one that's let me down. Matt Short and Sean Abbott let me down in the first innings. And it's Josh Philippe who's let me down in this one. The Sixers. Oh, that's a big inside edge off that. There is a monstrous inside edge off that ball. And they have no review left. Oh, that was a huge edge. Unlucky. And that's why he was so frustrated. Enriquez, you thought that he was frustrated. Not Enriquez, sorry, Shaw. You thought that he was frustrated. You thought he was frustrated because, like, damn it, I've got myself out. No, he's frustrated because there was a clear and blatant inside edge on that, and they can't review it. Their review was burnt. What a huge moment in the game. Ben Dorsch is now out to bat. What a massive moment in the game. They had no reviews. An absolute monster of an inside edge. .91 from 59. They're under the pump here, the Sixers. Enriquez gone. It was Enriquez. There you go. Well, honestly, I've been talking about it for years now. How do we fix this situation? How do you fix the situation? Do you take reviews out of the hands of the player? The third umpire is able to rule on no balls, and the review for the no ball, it comes in before the bowler even gets back to his mark for the next ball. Now, I understand that for LBWs and such, there's a little bit more to look at. And I'm not saying review every single LBW, but surely right there, in that situation where there is a clear and blatant inside edge, no reviews left for the batting team, surely that is a scenario where the third umpire can intervene and go, mate, he has absolutely tonked that. What are you doing giving that out? Surely the decision would come in before the batsman got back to the dugout. Because that is a huge turning point. Enriquez gone. Oh yeah, Christian, I'm very interested in the cricket score. Very interested in the tennis scores. And it saves me having to open my phone. It's either Matt shares it in the chat or I open my phone every 2 minutes to get an update. I love my tennis. Big over that one. Another wicket falls. And the Adelaide Strikers, I can only imagine what they're paying now. They would have to be favourites, you would think. Red hot favourites. Is that his brother commentating? I don't know if it's his brother or if it's just some lookalike they plucked out of the crowd. Jamie Overton back into bowl. 5 for 97. 86 needed of 54. Short. Turns it away for a single. The required run rate now 9.56. For the first time in this run chase, the required run rate drifted out beyond the current. Strikers odds $1.45. There you go. Red hot favourites. Nearly chopped back on here from Dorcius. Dot ball. Liam, ahoy mate. Paddy Hearn. Who do I reckon's winning? Oh, the Strikers. The Strikers, this is theirs to lose now. This is theirs to lose now. Overton in again. Bangs this one in short. Dorcius pulls it away. Lands it safely in between infield and outfield. Levi, who was I hoping to win? Well, I tipped the Sydney Sixers. And it certainly makes the Brisbane Heat's job a bit easier if the Adelaide Strikers lose. Two fresh batsmen at the crease also makes it very difficult to call a power surge. Can the Stars still make the finals if the Strikers win? I think the Stars still pretty much just have to win, don't they? Let's have a look. The Strikers will jump above the Stars. Yeah, it's pretty much a case. The Stars just have to keep winning, basically. They would obviously prefer the Strikers to lose. Sigma, you played club cricket today and got out by a young spin bowler, and you hate spin bowlers. Oh, dear. Overton with the last ball. Shaw scoops this up just over the top. Just over the top of mid-off. And they'll come back for at least two. Risky business, though. 5 for 103. Wow. Incredible how this game was swung. The required run rate now 10 and over. They've really let that slide. They've got to call the surge. You want your batsman to be set. Obviously, you want your batsman to be set, but they've got to consider calling this surge. The Sixers have absolutely flatlined Darcy Short into bowl. Under edge from Dorcius again. That's his second one in 6 deliveries. Dorcius Pulls this away. Protection out there on the fence. It'll just be the one. $79 needed or 46. Short floats this one up. Shaw pulls it from outside off down the leg side. $10.4, the required run rate. Dorcius gets hold of this one. Sends it into the stands for 6. Short. Just got the length wrong there, and that was right in the arc for Ben Dorcius. And he sends it. And if he is starting to see it, yes, next over for the surge for sure. Final ball of the 13th over. Dorcius down the ground for a single. They've got to call it this over. They have to. Dorcius is on strike. Here we go. Surge. Ham and Cheese says, hey, I just wanted to congratulate you on reaching UNC. What's UNC status? Let's celebrate together. Well, I'm mighty thirsty, so I'll drink to that. I'll drink to anything when I'm thirsty. Buckingham Palace into bowl. No surge yet. Whoa, interesting. Interesting. Dorcius on strike, slower ball, turned away on the offside, racing through for a single. Jeez. $70 runs needed or 41 balls. Look, the power surge remaining. This is still a gettable score. My concern is, though, 10.24 runs and over. The longer they leave this surge and just go along at 6 or 7 and over, and that continues to drift out, the harder it's going to be. No power surge yet. I'm surprised by that. Wide outside off. Shaw chops it back to the bowler. Well fielded. Buckingham Palace off his own bowling. Five for 113. And somehow the Adelaide Strikers, they are well on top here. This should be a catch. Oh, just short of the man at long off. Overton running forward. Just couldn't get to it. Shaw got nowhere near connecting with that one. $69 off 39 needed. That required run rate. Drifting out. Dorcius pulls this one away into the gap, but there's protection out there on the boundary. Should be 2. Cade Brewster, Brisbane Heat supporter. So the Strikers are doing the Brisbane Heat no favours here tonight. 2 balls left. Dorcius turns it off the pads. Running hard for the first. Back for a second. Well run. .65 needed off 37. The surge has got to come, surely, in the next over or two. They can't leave it for the very end. That would be craziness to leave it for the very end. And Dylan says, let's go Stars. Dorcius punches down the ground for a single. Suggests to me that maybe it's time to call the surge. They need to do it with Dorcius out there, of course. All right, we're getting to the hot end of the innings. I'll have a quick break. Still no surge. And Matt Short into bowl. 64 from 34 needed. No surge. Dorcius goes after it. A little inside edge back onto the pads. Luckily, not onto the stumps. Two dot balls to start. This one a bit wider outside off. Protection out at deep point. Just a single. I can't understand why they haven't called the power surge. Running out of time here, the Sydney Sixers. Shaw gets down and lifts this one square on the leg side for 4. Sweeps it away. And a much-needed boundary. Boy, did they need that. Big boundary. 59 needed off 32. 5 off this over. Turned off the pads for 1. Pushing hard. They should get 2 here, actually. And back for the second quite easily. Oi! What are you doing back there, eh? Don't be chewing up the furniture, huh? We don't chew up the furniture. Eh? We don't chew up the furniture. Not allowed. Yeah, we don't do that. End of the over, 5 for 127. The Sydney Sixers have left themselves a lot of work to do here. It's the Adelaide Strikers on top. Ty? UFC, ahoy. Christian Kupkovic, thunderstorm. The Sydney Sixers need 56 or 30 balls with 5 wickets in hand. Shaw is 16 off 12. Dorcius is 18 off 17. And the surge is finally called. Finally. This is it. These 2 overs. The game is on the line. The Strikers got about 32 off their surge overs. If the Sixers can match that, Overton to Shaw. Swings with everything at this. Gets it slightly off the open face of the bat there. Scoops it just over the infield, and they'll come back for 2. The injury factor UFC, they had half their team out for 2024. One of the best centers in the game didn't play the entire season. Shaw pulls this one away into the gap for 4. Six runs off the opening 2 balls. This game is in the balance, but the Strikers still slightly on top. Wide outside off stump, lifted over the offside, but protection out there at backward point. And just a single. He needed to try and get that more fine. Simon, the number 1 go to Hoymate. Close game. Just in favour of the Strikers at the moment. Big power play overs, though. Power surge overs. Dorcius on strike. Swing and a miss. Well, Overton got him with an off-pace bouncer. Beautifully bowled. And Dorcius had no answer. Dorcius gets hold of this one, pulls it away into the gap for 4. Boy, did they need that. 11 off this over with 1 ball to go. Bringing themselves back into the contest here, the Sixers. He just dropped it in too short there. And Dorcius rips it away. 11 off this over. Overton. Final ball of the opening surge over. Slower ball, full outside off. They come through for the single. Direct hit will be close. Shaw dives at the danger end. Has he made it home? He's hurt himself in the process. Dorcius was keen to retain the strike. Diving and making it. He's safe. He's safe. We are in the middle of the surge right now, Big Red. The opening surge over has just been bowled by Jamie Overton. They've scored 12 from it. No wickets down. 45 runs needed. Well, 44 now when this single gets confirmed. 44 runs off 24 balls. And Ben Dorcius will be on strike. Who will the Adelaide Strikers turn to bowl? Big over this one. This is the over potentially that decides the match. 11 runs and over required. Oh, and they've turned to Buckingham Palace. They've turned to royalty. None for 15 off his 2 overs so far. And he has got the task here of bowling the second surge over. Buckingham to Dorcius. Dorcius gets a full toss over waist height. Dispatches it over the square leg fence for 6. This is surely a no ball and a free hit to come. Well, has that just swung the match back in favour of the Stars? Not the Stars, sorry, the Sixers. That's way over waist height. That's up around his tits. That has got to be a no ball and a free hit. Dorcius Is it his night to be the hero, Ben Dorcius? Oh, it wasn't called. Are you kidding me? Are you joking me? That was not called a no ball. All right, I honestly have to ask the question about which side the umpires are on tonight. Moses Enriquez absolutely hit the leather off the ball when he was given out LBW. And how is that not a no ball? Incredible. 7 runs off the first 2 balls, though. Shaw on strike. Oh, and he's missed it. They come through for the single. Dorcius wants the strike back. I just cannot fathom how that was not a no ball. But crucially for the Sixers here, Dorcius racing through, back on strike. 7 off the first 2 balls, though. It's still a good over. A good start to the over. $37 needed of 22 balls. 4 balls left in the surge. Dorcius skies it. He hasn't got hold of it enough. It should be taken. And planting himself under it to take the catch. A big catch. And a huge wicket. Buckingham gets the breakthrough. Well, he didn't commit to that, Dorcius. I feel like he just did not commit to that shot. It was a very half-hearted attempt. Trying to rip this from outside off over the leg side fence. He never really followed through with the swing. And that is a huge wicket. 6 for 147. 36 needed of 20 balls. But they are quickly running out of batsmen here, the Sixers. Oh, it's tight, all right. She's tight. I would say that the Sixers have a slight advantage, though. Into bat for the Sixers, Hayden Kerr. .98 not out is his highest score, so we know he can go. Well, he has to go right from ball number 1, though, and he swings and misses. 8 runs off this over. It wouldn't be enough. They need a boundary off this last ball. Pope should have another over, yes. Kerr has basically got a free hit here. And he fends it back down the pitch for 1. Well. Ooh, 9 off the over. Not good enough for the Sixers. The Adelaide Strikers win the power surge period. They're on top here. The Strikers keeping their season alive. The power surge is done and dusted. The Strikers come out on top. Tomorrow, Brisbane Heat versus the Hobart Hurricanes. A must-win for the Heat. And then Friday, the Sydney Sixers versus the Sydney Thunder. A bit of a nothing game, really, because they're both qualified through to the finals. Kerr turns this one away fine into the gap. At least 2. They should come back for a third. No, they settle for 2. Overton has come into bowl. The last of his overs. 33 runs needed off 17 balls. This has got a bit of a Daniel Sams scenario about it. Overton to Kerr. Wide outside off. Cut away. Just the one. If they push hard, two. No, settle for one. 32 needed off 16. Matthew Dolby. No worries, mate. May I ask, I'm gathering that a lot of them are probably in the Indian language. Is that correct? Six for 151 here. Overton to Shaw. Wide outside off. Shaw doesn't get hold of it. Gets just enough of it, though, and it's over the top of mid-off. Oh, he slips. He slips as he's racing back for that one, but it doesn't do any damage. They've come back for a second. 30 runs needed or 15 balls. Whoopsie. Down he goes. Three balls left in this over. Overton has bowled extremely well. Shaw steps over to the offside, tries to whip it onto leg. And it lands safely. They'll come back for two. And this is the problem for the Sixers at the moment is Kerr and Shaw are just not getting it out of the middle of the bat. It's a big ask for them. It is a big ask for the tail. 28 or 14. Scooped again from outside off. Gets all of it this time, and that's a big six. Oh, it's a 4. Well, I thought that was a 6. That is a massive boundary, though. They needed a boundary. 4 or 6. A 6 would have been nice, but they'll take a 4 as well. Ah, yes, clearly. One bouncing over the rope. UFC, speaking of stories, mate, you should have been here last night because tennis came up in the conversation, and I got, for the longest time, I haven't been able to share it, but finally, there was an opportunity. Tennis was brought up. I got to share the Pat Cash story. Finally, after all this time, a topic was raised. I was able to bring it up again. End of the over. The Adelaide Strikers slightly on top here, but still anybody's game. Rex Martin, ahoy, welcome along. Waste of World of Sports, live on YouTube, live on TikTok, and soon to be live on Twitch, and once again live on Facebook for the NRL season coming up. Who do I go for in the BBL, asks Isaac. I go for the Brisbane Heat. So, here we go. Lloyd Pope into the attack. Lloyd Pope to bowl his last. 18 overs gone, 23 runs required, and Lloyd Pope into bowl. Shaw on strike. Goes the reverse, misses it. An appeal for LBW. Well, it's an appeal for face before W. Shaw falls over, all over himself there. Makes a complete mess of it. They're going to review. Oh, the Strikers are reviewing, I think, this call of LBW. Six for 160. A shout for LBW. Shaw has missed it. He's gone for the reverse sweep. He's missed it. Oh, this is actually pretty close. This is plumb. This is going to be out, I reckon. I've got to say, watching it live, I didn't think for 1 second that it was... I didn't think for 1 second it was even close. But this is absolutely plumskis. And he's walking. The batsman's walking already. He's not even waiting for the third umpire's call. He is on his way halfway back to the dugout. This has ended up being absolutely plumb. Pope Pope gets another one, and the Sydney Sixers are in disarray. Pitching in line, hitting the stumps. It's all green lights or red lights if you're the Sydney Sixers. And he's on his way. 7 for 160. Well, for the Sydney Sixers, it matters not. They've qualified for the finals anyway. Regardless of what happened here tonight, they would have liked to have fought for top spot, I suppose, but does it really matter? Is home ground advantage really all that much of a difference maker in cricket? Probably not. It's nice to get, I'm sure. Hats off to Lloyd Pope, though, right? I mean, considering it was Lloyd Pope, wasn't it, that got absolutely tonked by Daniel Sams in that unlosable game. As Sean Abbott, well, hold up. We know that Sean Abbott can send him. He had a shocker with the ball. He starts with a cut shot for 4. Sean Abbott might still have a thing or two to say about this game. He was disappointing with the ball. 19 off 10. Swing and a miss, and they come through for a leg bye. 18 off 9. Hold up indeed. She's not done yet. Yeah, Sean Abbott, we know he's not... you wouldn't hinge your entire batting lineup on Sean Abbott, but we know that if he gets hold of one, it's going to stay hit. Pope to Kerr, 7 for 165, 18 off 9. Just punched to the offside for another single, 17 off 8. If this is, there's 2 balls left. If they get this down to 13 off the last over, one big hit. Abbott backs away, cuts to the offside for a single, and now they give up an overthrow. No, they thought about taking it, but they settle for 1. 16 off 7. Kerr on strike. Does Kerr look to just push a single and retain the strike, or does he back Abbott and go for it here? Lloyd Pope floats it up. Kerr goes for it, doesn't get hold of it, should be taken. He does get hold of it just enough, and it is 6 over long on. Lloyd Pope, head down, hands on hips. 10 runs needed off 6 balls. There is another twist in this tale. 83 metres off the bat. I thought that had gone straight up in the air. Off the bat, I thought that long on was a dead set certainty for the catch. Oh, old mate's pumped up there in the crowd. He's loving it. He's hulking up there. Obviously a Sixers fan. Wow. The twists and turns in this game continue. And they need 10 runs off the final over, and it is going to be Thornton. Thornton to bowl. 1 for 24 off his 2 so far. Sean Abbott will have the strike. 10 runs off 6 balls. Here we go. The Adelaide Strikers season is on the line. These are such critical deliveries. Thornton to Abbott. 10 off 6. Where does he send it? Fallen outside off. Lifted, scooped up, and 1 bounce to the man at deep point. They come through for a single. 9 runs needed off 5. Kerr back on strike. There is a hush around the stadium. The tension Surely the Strikers can finish it off here. Thornton, wide outside off again. Punch down the ground through the gap. And that'll be 4. That is a massive boundary. Hayden Kerr. Straight through the covers. He got all of that. No risk involved in that shot whatsoever. A beautiful off drive straight through the covers, along the ground the entire way. And they need 5 runs or 4 balls. Thornton, 2 wide outside off. A half volley. Right in the zone. The batsman had to take no risk there. 0 risk. High reward. 5 runs needed or 4 balls. Wow, BBL just keeps delivering. BBL 14. We have seen so many of these games go down to the wire. 5 or 4. Thornton in again. Kerr steps across to the offside. It's pretty wide. It's way wide, and it's called a wide. He's called it a wide. The umpire signals wide. Thornton can't believe it. Well, Kerr has stepped across to the offside, and it's outside the blue lines. It's 4 runs needed or 4 balls. Four or 4. That is a huge call of a wide. Kerr had stepped across the stumps to the offside. And I would have thought that surely when the batsman steps across, that readjusts what is considered a wide. It was outside the blue line, so I mean, to the letter of the law, it was absolutely a wide. 4 or 4. Steps across again, and it's wide again. Punch down the ground for 1. Pushing hard. They come back for a second. They take on the throw. The throw to the keeper's end is not in time. And Hayden Kerr comes back for a second. 2 runs needed or 3 balls. The Sydney Sixers, are they about to steal this game? Oh, I can't even speak. I'm so excited. Are the Sixers about to steal this? Sean Abbott and Hayden Kerr. 2 runs needed off 3 deliveries. Had he left that one too, funnily enough, if he leaves this, it's a wide again. He played at this one. Two runs to win off 3 deliveries. How have they turned this around? Thornton running out of options. Big discussions going on. Where do we bowl this? That's the talk. Where do we bowl it? Where do we set our field? One big hit ends it. One big hit ends it. Thornton to Kerr. Full toss, pulled away on the leg side. Do they come back for a second? They don't know. They settle for 1. Oh, scores are tied. 1 run needed of 2 balls. And that was surely, again, above waist height, no ball. Not called. 1 run off 2 balls. The Sydney Sixers are on the brink of pulling off an absolute dead set miracle. One run needed off the final 2 deliveries. They can't lose. That is the situation they're in, the Sixers. They can't lose. It could still get to a super over, of course. But they're in a no-lose scenario here off these final 2 balls. No, they absolutely can't lose. It could go to a super over, worst case scenario, and they've already qualified for the finals. They absolutely can't lose. They've got nothing to lose here, these last two deliveries. They can just throw everything at it. The field has come up. It had to. The field has come up. Make them go for the big hit. If you want to win this and you're good enough to get hold of it, fair enough. It's the only call that could be made here. Two balls left. Sean Abbott on strike. Ball right on the legs. They come through for the single. Direct hit has him. Misses the stumps, and the Sydney Sixers have won. The Sydney Sixers have stolen it. And the Adelaide Strikers, their season is over. BBL 14 is done for the Strikers. Colton 06, thank you very much for the Dalgona candy. Unbelievable. The swings and roundabouts in this game alone. An absolute sports trader's dream. The Strikers were under the pump early, recovered. The Strikers were under the pump again. They recovered, set themselves a massive total. The Sydney Sixers were under the pump, recovered, got under the pump big time, and somehow steal it at the death. Keno, thank you very much for the heart me. And Colton 06 for the GG. Matthew Dolby. Thank you very much, Matthew, for checking in. I'm so glad that you've found an English-speaking cricket commentary channel. Not just cricket, though, by the way. Wasted World of Sports, I'll use this opportunity for a plug. Wasted World of Sports, live on YouTube, live on TikTok, live on Twitch, live on Facebook. Wasted World of Sports is the name to look up everywhere. Covering the BBL for the first time ever here in BBL 14. Primarily doing the NRL, but we're going to be doing Super Rugby. I've got the Six Nations coming up that I'll be covering. We've got a Lions tour coming up this year. State of Origin, it's all happening. We're doing the Royal Rumble on February 2nd, 2025. It's all happening here on the Wasted World of Sports. What should our catchphrase be? Your source for alternative sports commentary. I like it. That might be it. Oh, wow. The Sydney Sixers have stolen this one. And the Adelaide Strikers, well, they'll be wondering just what went wrong there. They had this game in control quite a few times throughout. Wow, everybody take a breath. What a game. BBL 14, I've said this a couple of times during streams, but honestly, BBL 14 has delivered. The Cricket Australia made the right decision by shortening the Big Bash because it was at the point where it drifted out a little bit too long, didn't it? Let's be honest. We love our Big Bash. We love our cricket, but the BBL was starting to just be too elongated. They made the decision to just pull the season back, condense it, and what a call it's been, because we had a situation where we are only a few games away from the finals, and up until this point in time, up until this week, every single team in the tournament had a chance of making the finals. I mean, that is a perfect scenario for a tournament promoter to go into the final week and everybody was still a chance of making the finals. The promotion and advertising just writes itself. So, absolutely the correct call to just condense the tournament again, bring it back in, shorten it. Thank you very much. All the hearts are flying through. Keno and Colton 06. Oh boy, we're trying to catch a breath here. And all right, I'll have a quick break and I'll be back for the post game right after this. All right, there we go. Sorry, I've been holding in that whiz for about 3 overs now. I didn't want to leave. I couldn't go anywhere. I couldn't leave and potentially miss the end of that blockbuster game. Steve Smith gets the man of the match. Well, don't know about that. Jeez. Well, I mean, I know he got 52. He got 52, but geez, I don't know about Steve Smith, man of the match tonight. Keno, 18, 19, roses. Thank you very much there. Colton, 06, GG's. Cheers, I'll drink to that. Oh, the fans are buzzing. The fans are buzzing. So, the Scorchers are done. The Strikers are done. Who will be next to done? Honestly, maybe it could be the Brisbane Heat. The Brisbane Heat tomorrow taking on the Hobart Hurricanes at the Gabba. It is the return of the Lasagna and the Koala. Marnus Labuschagne and Usman Khawaja both fronting up for the Brisbane Heat, the only game that they will be playing in BBL 14. And it's a must-win for the Brisbane Heat. Daniel Kelly asks who I've got winning the comp. I'm sticking with the Hobart Hurricanes. I said about halfway through. We can go back through the streams and find out exactly when, but I'm pretty sure it was about halfway through, and the Hurricanes were not on top of the table, but they were winning, and winning quite comprehensively. And I said I actually think the Hurricanes are very well placed, and they've got a very well balanced team. I also think that they almost screwed it up last night, right? So close. They nearly balls it up last night, but I think all that will do, it will serve as a wake-up call. They ended up getting the job done, and I think that will be a little kick in the pants for them. And, yeah, pressure is on. Pressure is on the Brisbane Heat tomorrow, my team, because the Hobart Hurricanes, I think, are pretty well poised to win it all. Mind you, they've quite often got to the finals, haven't they? Well, a couple of times got to the final, never won it. So we'll see, can the Hurricanes turn it around? It starts with the Brisbane Heat tomorrow. The Brisbane Heat with their internationals back in the squad. Don't know how to feel about that, to be perfectly honest. I mean, really, legitimately, perfectly honest, don't know how I feel about Usman and Marnus coming back in for one game. It seems rather pointless, but I suppose it goes two ways, right? If the Brisbane Heat were flying high and they were going really, really well, then maybe I would say, well, why for one game only replace the guys that are doing well with the international players just for one game? Why? But I suppose the fact that the Brisbane Heat aren't going well, it makes sense. Bring them in, get the job done, and then we can go back to stinking up the joint if we make the finals. Anyway, wow, have we all recovered from that? What a run chase from the Sydney Sixers. Talk about leaving it to the last possible moment. They've pulled off an absolute minor miracle here at Adelaide Oval. The miracle at Adelaide Oval, that's what we'll call it. Stealing it at the end, winning by 3 wickets. And a big one tomorrow. So we know the Scorchers are done. We know the Strikers are done. Will the Brisbane Heat add themselves to that list tomorrow? Will the Stars get into the finals? Well, I mean, there's still a chance, aren't they? There's still a chance. I can't see the Brisbane Heat beating the Hobart Hurricanes, though, is the only problem. I think the Hurricanes are going to wipe the floor. Sigma says if we make finals, we're losing the finals and being fourth because we lose McSweeney and Kuhneman also. Yeah, that's true. Well, this is one of the big problems with BBL, isn't it? Is just the scheduling. and the international players. The international players having to go about their duty, and makes it difficult for some of the teams that have a lot of representation. I mean, Steve Smith's going to be gone for the Sixers, so what does that do for them? If you take Steve Smith's innings out of tonight, what do the Sixers get? 130? So, I mean, Alex Carey will be gone from the Strikers. I don't have to worry about that anymore, but yeah, who will be worst affected by the internationals leaving? The Stars are in a good spot because if they do qualify, they've got players like Maxwell and players like Stoinis, international level players who haven't been called up, that will still be in the squad, still be available. Yeah, I wasn't joking. Honestly, it was going to be tough for them, but I wasn't kidding. Like a couple of weeks ago when they were bottom of the table, and I said, these guys, if they make the finals, they're winning the whole thing. I can picture them going on an unbeaten run, qualifying, and winning the whole thing. Oh, wow. What a game we've just witnessed, though. The Sydney Sixers, what a miracle ending the Adelaide Strikers' finals hopes. All right, Wasted World of Sports. Thank you so much. I do have some work to do, so I will hop off and do that now. But we will be back tomorrow. Big game tomorrow because it is my team, the Brisbane Heat. Their season is on the line. Taking on the Hobart Hurricanes. I think that's the one tomorrow, isn't it? We looked it up already. Pretty sure it is. Brisbane Heat versus the Hurricanes. Season on the line. Hard luck here for the Adelaide Strikers. They just didn't get the bowling right in the back end. BBL 14. I'm so glad we decided to cover it. It has delivered in absolute spades. Be back tomorrow for hopefully another cracker of a contest. Thank you so much for your company in this one. And I'll see you tomorrow. Until then,